For many years, I had excellent reasons for not doing my own photography printing. And then about a year ago, I put those reasons to one side and decided to have a go, in a small way. I made a few videos on the subject, and then I haven't spoken about it for quite a long time. So I thought it was about due for me to do an update and maybe pose the big question: photography printing, is it worth it? I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you do, and you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. Quick bit of background then. As I said, I had many good reasons for not doing printing for many years. And then I decided to have a go at it, but I set myself kind of some limits. I didn't want to spend a massive amount of money. I didn't want to buy a big printer. I wanted to keep the cost of printing fairly low. I was only planning on printing for my own personal use, so not for sale. And I really needed to find a way that there was some kind of use for the printing that I was doing. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the background in terms of the printer that I chose and why and all the rest of it. You can look back at my previous videos on printing on the printing playlist on my YouTube channel. I'll stick a link to that up there now. And for those people that don't get links on screen, I'll also stick one in the video description. So if you want to see more about the printer that I've got and why and all the rest of it, that's all in that playlist. And the answer is yes, I am. I think when I first got the printer and I started playing around with it, obviously there was a level of enthusiasm there, and I did a lot of printing. I did a lot of throwing prints away as well, as I learnt how to translate between what I was seeing on screen and what was coming out of the printer. But I did a lot of stuff in the first couple of months. And then there was probably a period when I didn't print very often. I think the enthusiasm wore off and it was kind of a bit, I'll get around to it at some point. And then I started doing more. And I started to get into a little bit of a routine. And I think this has perhaps worked the best for me, is having some kind of schedule to work to. So what I do now is round about once a month, I pick 2 images, either recent images or, from the archives, if you like, and I print them. And if I keep that up over a period of time, I'm producing a pretty decent set of prints on a fairly regular basis. Obviously, I'm not going to print every single image that I produce. Now, the prints that I'm producing are A4 size prints, because the printer that I've got will print a maximum of A4 size. In fact, they're actually slightly smaller than A4 in terms of the actual print. The paper size is A4, but I'm printing with a border, and that really comes on to what I'm doing with the prints. I print 2 images a month, roughly, and I put them in these frames. These frames came from a local shop. They're not expensive, they're just A4 photo frames. And because I have 4 frames and I print 2 images each month, I swap out 2 images each month. And that means that, as a general rule, images stay in there for about 2 months and then get replaced. Up here at the moment, I have 2 images over this side that were from my trip to Segovia. I printed those shortly after we came back, so that was, over a month ago. And the 2 most recent images I've got are these 2. One of those was also from Segovia, of a stork, but I just decided to print it. And the other one is a black and white image I shot of the moon on a recent early morning shoot. These were only printed a few days ago, so they've only just gone in there. In about a month's time, I will choose 2 more images to print, and I will swap out the 2 older ones. But it keeps a nice little refreshed display of images on the go here that I can use as a bit of inspiration or whatever when I'm sitting here planning photography or whatever else I might be doing. But of course, then the question is, what happens to the images that were in the frames that I then take out? Well, I don't throw the images away when I take them out, that's for sure. I bought a very simple, straightforward A4 photo album. This is one of these plastic sleeve ones, and the images that come out of the frames go into here. And gradually, over time, this album will get fuller with images. And it's quite nice actually, even with just a few in here at the moment, it's quite nice every so often to just pick it up and have a little flick through and see some of the images that I've chosen to print and put in here. Now, although some of the earlier images in here are landscape format, at the moment I am only printing images that are in portrait or vertical format, or that can be cropped into that format and still work. And the reason for that is really simple. These 4 photo frames at the moment sit on a shelving unit, and 4 vertical will sit on there quite nicely. However, if I start putting some that are horizontal, then they don't fit on there properly. My plan is that after the summer, when it's cooled down a bit, this office space of mine is going to go through a complete refurb, because at the moment it's a disaster area. I'm not going to show it to you, it's awful. It's a real mess over that way. And when that's done, I'm going to have a better way of displaying not only these images, but also I'm going to put my big metal prints that I've got in storage up on the walls as well. So, maybe I'll show you that when the job's done a bit later on. And I think the short answer is it depends on you as a photographer. There are photographers out there that will say, you really must do your own printing. It's an important part. The image isn't finished until it's been physically produced into something you can hold in your hands. And whilst I agree with that to some extent, I also know that everybody is different. Everybody has different needs and wants and different things that bring them pleasure. And for some people, the act of printing may not be as enjoyable as it is for other people. Seeing the image on screen, even shared on social media, may be what they want to get from their photography, and that's absolutely fine. If it's your photography, do what you want with it. For me, I think because of the choices that I've made to keep my printing small and economical, and to find a way to actually do something with it, it has proven to be a worthwhile exercise, and I'm glad that I've done it, and I will be continuing to do it. I'm not going to be rushing out and buying a big A3 Plus or A2 printer or anything like that. For me, these A4 prints are perfect for what I want to do. If I do want to have a big print made for something, then I'll go out and get somebody to print it for me at a professional lab. That's probably the best way to do it. But just doing a couple of prints every month, sticking them up on display, and then after a couple of months popping them into an album and building that up over time, that's definitely worked out well for me. Other people may have very different opinions. Anyway, that's my quick update on printing. I hope you've enjoyed it. Next week, probably back out in the field again, so watch out for that. It's very hot here at the moment, so getting out and about is not always easy. But I will definitely be wanting to get out, so I'll share whatever I do with you in the next video. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, likes and comments are really appreciated. Let me know what you do about printing or what your thoughts are on printing. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and until next week, bye.